Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It is April the 9th, 2022, Saturday, and it is part 10 of That Dad Guy Answers. Can you believe it? It's already been 10 weeks of Saturdays of putting out this series, and you guys continue to give new questions, new topics, so very thankful for that. Thank you also for subscribing, liking, and commenting. It makes what this channel is all about, and keeps things going and keeps it a little bit fresh and interesting, so not every day it's just a post-crossing video or a stamp video or what have you. Yeah, there's always something new to talk about, and that's why I like answering comments. One day we'll even get maybe to YouTube Live and be able to answer them directly. So here's hoping to get to that milestone and be able to do that. All right, there is going to be some meetup information at the end of this. We've been back and forth and hammering some things out, so I'll spread that word along to you, and we'll keep that being promoted. So stay tuned to the end for that. But first, let's get to the questions. Last week, I had missed a question, and so I moved it forward into this week. It is from Wendy Billing, and she asks, are you much of a handyman? Did you learn from your dad? And what did you build that you're proud of? Personally, I wouldn't say I'm much of a handyman, even though other people may disagree with that. I do tinker, and I've learned some things along the way. I didn't learn from my father. My father was one to say that if something needed to be fixing, you get a professional to fix it. So if there was something wrong with the car, he took it to the mechanic, and if there was something that needed to be built, he got a contractor or something to do that for him. He wasn't much of a handyman, but he had other great, and he still has other great attributes, which is fantastic. I did learn from my father-in-law, David, though. He is a bit more of a handyman and knows how to do things. I would say that math isn't one of my strongest suits. So when you talk about angles and you start doing all this, that, sometimes I get lost in the shuffle. I have done some things, though, along the way. I have built a shed and built a deck, and I say but it was a team effort. When we built the shed, my brother-in-law was here, my father-in-law was here. Everyone pitched in to help and make sure things got done. I paid for the lumber, and I hammered the nails and screwed things in and sawed some stuff, but it was all through guidance that those things got done. On my own, I put in a fire pit. Last year, I built some boxes for plants. I'll show you that. So lately, to say what I've been proud of, yes, I was proud of the flower box that I built out of old pallets last year. I didn't have any help for that one. I use YouTube and Pinterest and all sorts of other things to get ideas and figure out how I should probably best tackle that situation. I do things like changing light fixtures around the house, and I can do little things, but if you want huge projects done, I'm probably not that guy. I've put up drywall and things like that, but all through guidance and help from other people telling me what best way to do things. And then once I've been given the tools and the instructions on how to do it, I certainly can do it from there. So yeah, am I a handyman? I can do some things. All right, what else do we have? All right, Basil from India says, how do Moncton folks usher in spring? Any traditional festivities, traditions, or practices followed in your household, neighborhood, city, province, or even Canada at large? I would say, Basil, in North America as a whole, we don't do things, especially the way India does, with lots of festivals and traditions of bringing, ushering in the seasons or religious holidays and things like that. It's not really as big a thing in North America to do that, and we talk about Canada as a whole. When you're saying spring, how do we usher it in? The biggest thing we do is just before the spring, we have Groundhog's Day, and we get a groundhog out of its cage, and we have the same ones in different areas, whether it's Shubenacadie Phil, which is in Nova Scotia, Punxsutawney Phil in New York State, and there's one, I think, in Ontario too that they do every year, and they say if the groundhog sees its shadow, you get 6 more weeks of winter, and if he doesn't, then winter will come, or 6 more weeks of winter, or if it doesn't, then spring will come sooner. It's just a myth. Spring comes the same time every year on the calendar. The weather formats, whether or not we get more snow for a longer period of time, who knows? it's just a fun way to do it. But we don't have festivals saying that it's spring now and we're going to have a big party about it. There's nothing like that in Canada. Other festivities, we have festivals. So I know at the end of June, we have a rib festival coming to town every end of June, especially pre-pandemic. We'll have food trucks set up, and have different things you can eat there, and there might be concerts going on downtown. But it's just a way of getting together on the weekends, and it's not always the same thing. We have bikers come in for biker rallies, or we have car shows that happen. They're not anything that's traditional. It's just about fun. It doesn't have any sort of religious background to it or a national significance for it. The only national holiday I say we have is Canada Day on July 1st to celebrate us as a nation. And we'll have concerts and fireworks and food trucks and all sorts of stuff will happen on that day. But that's usually the biggest day we have, other than religious days like Christmas or Easter. And those are all based on how you as an individual believe about the holidays, or believe about the occasion, what you're going to do, whether it's about the chocolate or whether it's about the ceremony at the church. Yeah, things are different in different countries, and it's great to see the festivals and things that you guys celebrate too. So thank you for sharing those things. All right, moving on. We've got Bernardo in Mexico. He says, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Hope you're very well. Okay, I'm very well. I have some questions regarding what hockey team you're a fan of, Canadian or American. My favorites are his favorites are the Los Angeles Kings when Wayne Gretzky played there, and also the Toronto Maple Leafs because he has a brother-in-law that lives in Toronto, and he collects hockey stamps. So let's go back. What am I a fan of? I am a fan of the Montreal Canadiens in the National Hockey League. So I got that desire and support when I lived in Montreal. I was going to McGill University, and in 1992-93, the Montreal Canadiens went all the way to win the Stanley Cup, and I happened to be in Montreal during that run, so I got to see the All-Star game, which was in Montreal at the Forum that year, and got to see some playoff hockey. I unfortunately left Montreal before Stanley Cup Finals finished. I came back home to the New Brunswick at that point. But it was a great year, and it was the last year Montreal won the Stanley Cup, but I've been a fan ever since. I also followed the Vancouver Canucks when I lived out in Vancouver, so I still have an affinity to that, and the great line when Todd Bertuzzi and Marcus Naslund and Morrison were all the top line there, and the Sundin twins just came through and were just coming up the ranks early on, so that was when I was living out in Vancouver, so hockey was fun and exciting out there too. So thank you for that. The last thing he says, regarding Toronto, there will be a stamp show on June 9th to 12th this year called the Capex 22. Would you be interested in attending and giving a review? Wow, that would be fantastic to go to Toronto and do a video on that. But Toronto's 16 hours away, and it's a bit far. Yeah, I say no, it's far. It's a bit far for me to travel just to do a video. I do this for fun. I don't make any money off of YouTube at this point for making these videos, so I don't think I can travel to Toronto just to do a stamp show, but it would be fantastic. If they ever want to sponsor me and fly me up and put me up to do that, sure, I'd consider it at that point. But for now, Bernardo, I guess I will just have to watch it from afar. All right, moving along, and I think we're getting near the end anyways. I did have one gentleman at the end ask me if I was interested in doing an exchange. Always interested in swapping postcards, or maybe sending some used stamps back and forth from duplicates from my father's collection. I can do that to get stamps from your collections. I've done that with many other people at this point. So if anyone out there wants to do a swap with me, for postcards or maybe some stamps, hit me up at robertlennox@gmail.com, and we'll talk about it and see where we are. Or follow me at Robert Lennox on Instagram. You can send me a direct message there. That's why people have been sending me messages. So I did respond to him and gave him the same information. But that's all I've got for questions this week. Not a whole lot, 3 or 4. But that's all it takes to put together a video, and maybe someone hears some of the information I said this time and wants to know more about that. time in Vancouver or Montreal. There's all sorts of questions that could be there. Both great cities, had great times in those. Even spent some time in New York, so there's some great stories out of that as well. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, or the last thing I want to talk about as I wrap up this video, is a meetup. In last week's videos, I talked about there's potentially a meetup happening in Prince Edward Island, which I think is still going to happen in July. I haven't heard dates and things on that, but I was privy to get some information together and be a part of a meetup that's going to happen in Moncton. And it looks like it's going to be on July the 2nd, so on the Canada Day long weekend at Centennial Park from 1 to 4. So yeah, so if you're in the Atlantic Canada or in the Maritimes and you want to travel up and you're looking for something to do over the long weekend and you want to maybe come to Moncton, maybe go down to Fundy National Park over the weekend, but Saturday afternoon, make sure you come to Moncton, go to the Centennial Park, and if you want a chance to meet me, I'll be there. Sophie, who is from Montreal, is coming down, and she has put together 8 great meetup cards, 2 for each of the Atlantic provinces. So we're going to have 2 in New Brunswick, 2 in PEI, 2 in Nova Scotia, and 2 from Newfoundland available. And the prices are great on them. And other things that we're hoping to have there too is that people that want to bring cards or stickers and want to do swaps with some of their stock that they already have, they'll be able to do that there. Because it's going to be in Centennial Park, if the weather permits. If you're bringing your kids, there's areas there for the kids to play. There's Trigo that you can go exploring. There's also the pool is up there. So depending on how the weather is, there's lots of things that can be done and around as a family. And if you want to sneak off and be a part of buying some postcards and swapping some stickers and other older postcards, you can do that. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be after lunch, so if you're still hungry, there is a canteen in Centennial Park. You can buy food and ice cream and all that sort of stuff, and there's tons of walking trails. It's going to be a great area for nature and doing things, and I'll continue to promote this, and if anything changes in it, I will let you know. But this is what we have set up now, and I think there's going to be one set up to meet up in Prince Edward Island too, so maybe people from PEI or Nova Scotia want to come up to New Brunswick, and those in New Brunswick can travel into Moncton on the long weekend and be a part of the meetup. I would love to see some people face-to-face that I've been talking to over YouTube and through Instagram. That will be fantastic, and I want you guys to also promote this out so other people that are doing post-crossing can be a part of it, because I know there are lots out there, and there are lots in Nova Scotia that I haven't met, haven't been a part of, but I know they're doing it as well, so hopefully they'll hear about it, and maybe we can get a good group come up to Moncton to be a part of this. Yeah, and as I hear other meetups, I will promote those as well. But for right now, because this is going to be my local one, and this is going to be my first one, so I'm excited to see who shows up, and hopefully we can get a good crowd to come out for it. I'll have my That Dad Guy stamp to put on the meetup cards, and it'll be lots of fun. So mark it in your calendars, July 2nd. That's a Saturday, Centennial Park in Moncton from 1 to 4. Free parking, free admission, it's a free venue, so come on out, buy your meetup postcards. They're going to be amazing. I've seen what they look like already. They look great. Sophie has done a fantastic job putting those together. For those people that are attending, they're going to be 3 postcards for $1. That's great. Hard to find postcards for 33 cents these days, and especially nice thick ones that are going to be premium looks, and there's going to be other postcards that are going to be available as well too. So marketing calendar, once again, July the 2nd, Saturday at Moncton in Centennial Park. And we'll give you more details as I get more things out. So for now, that's all I've got for this week. So make sure if you have comments for me, leave them comments in the below here. And then next Saturday, part 11 will come out. Next Saturday, I'm hoping 2 videos are going to come out. One for That Dad Guy Answers, and there's also a model railway show happening in Moncton next week. So I'm going to try to be up and over to that to film it again, to see what is a little different and what's going on in that world and support it. So if you're into trains, there might be a train video coming out next weekend too. All right, for now, stay safe. Like, follow, you say. like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?